It is Tuesday, October 11th, 2012. You are watching the Jaybefaunt channel. Hey, everybody. Oh, welcome. Oh, wait. This looks it's not as warm as it should be. I need it warmer. Hang on. Boom. There we go. Now we're a little bit more warmer. Yes. Come in. Welcome. Set a spell. Do you have your snack? You got it? Good. It's so good to see everybody here and welcome this afternoon. Just to let you guys know, the Jaybefaunt channel is available on all major podcast platforms like Anchor, Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. So you can subscribe to me there. I'm also part of the Revolutionary Blackout Network, so you can catch me on the JB Show on Sundays at 1, on RBN Live on Tuesdays at 4, and the Sabby and JB Show on Thursdays at 6. Thank you so much to everyone who is here. And if you are new, please give us a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, please make sure to press down the subscribe button and ring that bell too. Ring ding the bell too, just to let you guys know whenever I post new content, because you know the algorithm doesn't like me. It doesn't. Also, thank you to everyone who is a patron on Patreon and Coffee, as well as people who give mutual aid to me via other platforms. Without you guys, I would not be able to survive. Like, seriously, I would not be able to survive. So, huge thank you to all of you as well. Thank you to the people who are also, members as well on the Jaybefaunt channel. Thank you so much to all of you too. Well, as customarily as I always do, I'm going to say hello to everybody who's in the chat, and we're going to have a bit of a conversation. And then I got a little bit of something I want to talk about in the middle. And then at the end, we're going to talk a little bit more. But it's going to be kind of like an Oreo cookie, the one first layer is some goodness, and then the last layer is some goodness, but in the middle is something special. Kind of sounds like a threesome. Anywho, let's get to this the beginning, shall we? Jeez Louise, thank God my mama ain't watching. All right, Give Him the Boot is also in here. Almost hit 2,000 subs. Yes. Okay. All right. So I am so excited. I think I'm 51 subs away from 2,000. And my goal was to hit 2,000 by late November, right? It's October 11th. So all I need is like 51 more subs. And I'm just going to try to keep doing the same thing I've been doing. And the thing is that the growth of the channel is more so that people hear voices from. So I wear many different hats, right? I wear the disabled hat. I wear the black hat. I wear the queer hat. So I wear all those hats as well. So with that being said, and I'm also broke. So, broke, poor, whatever you want to call it. So with that being said, how many people do you know that wear all these different hats that are doing, they're talking about these topics? There's some of us, but you don't see too many of them. Or, if you do have them, you'll have them in various order. Like, for instance, friend to the show, Kim Brown, I know that she wears a disabled hat as well as she's a woman. And I know she wears those hats. And, and she also has been in broadcasting for over 20 years. So that's one thing that she has up on me. Look, I got so much respect for Kim Brown, because Kim Brown is keeping it real. And so people like her, Sabby Sabs, she's a black woman. She is, she knows what it's like to be poor. She knows what it's like to, go through the college experience, the education experience. She even knows, the education background from a staff perspective. So, and then you have people like Rome, who didn't go to college. I didn't go to college. And then you also have him who has had a life, being in gangs and seeing capitalism and seeing the troubles of racism and capitalism from his point of view. And then, of course, you have Nick, CJ, myself, that are part of RBN. You have people like Misty. You have people like Lori Jones. You have Robert Durden. My guest tonight, Savage Joy. She's going to be on. She's going to be talking about her perspective as a disabled person, a disabled woman. So there's so many of us that have so many different perspectives. And I want to see more of us, right? Because the thing is that you have a lot of the people who are the loudest voices in this space tend to also be the most affluent. They tend to be the ones who, from a social perspective, they're like, oh man, we got to fight. But when it comes from an economic perspective, they seem to have more patience. More patience for the things that do not require patience. They have more patience when it comes, meaning that their sense of urgency is minute in comparison to those of people like myself. You see what I mean? So because they have a minute sense of urgency, for them, it's reformism is the name of the game, right? It's the keeping of, well, let's just every 2 years and every 4 years, let's just go and elect another Democrat. The problem with that is we don't have another 2 years. We don't have another 4 years. Some of us don't even have another 6 months. And so the push that a lot of us are making is like, no, get off your ass right now. Especially those of you that have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 plus subs, and use your platform to at least activate people to do more in their community. Because the thing is that you don't, or bring more people on that actually are doing it. Like, for instance, how many of them have had Rome on? So the key, not the key, the purpose for me gaining more subs is so that the amount of people see somebody like me that's also talking to them and vibing with them and saying, look, you're not crazy. You're not wrong. These feelings that you feel are valid. And what you're going through, this is what's behind it. This is why. Here are some people that are trying to change it. Here's where you can find them. These are the resources you can go to. This is what's being done. Right? Even if it's somebody who wants to do third party, independent, whatever, I'll point to them before I'll point to a Democrat, right? Because the Democrats and the Republicans are basically one and the same party. And so, and especially for people who are in disenfranchised groups, whether they be, black or brown, whether they be, a woman, both cis and trans, whether they be just a trans person in general, whether they are somebody that's disabled, whether they are neurodivergent versus neurotypical. So many different people that wear so many different hats. And they also deserve to have somebody that speaks to their needs, or somebody that platforms for other people that speaks to their needs. And I don't see that in what I like to call the legacy left. See what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why I want to grow the channel. Do I also want to be able to make enough revenue so that I can take care of my mom so she doesn't have to keep looking for a job? Yes. I really don't care about me as much. It's more my mom that I'm really concerned with. She's 71. And if you guys were watching the stream on RBN Live last week, you actually got to meet my mom. And she had a lot to say because my mom's a very opinionated and vocal woman, and a very kind and very giving woman. So I wanted to, I was proud to have her sitting with me, that day. But yeah, so I'm almost to 2,000 subs. I'm happy about that. That means that you guys trust me enough to, see me on a daily basis. You guys haven't got tired of my mugs, so that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. I got a lot of that almost out of this one, given the boot. Man, I can talk? Good Lord. Extra booyah. Uncle Warren says, hey, JB, listening while editing more Comic-Con video. Have a great show, bud. Ooh, we got to talk about that because I've only been to a comic book convention one time. This is back in my early 20s. And hang on. Chaplifts, sorry. And so I went to one. It was being held at UCF, right? I'm in Orlando, Florida. So those of you know, University of Central Florida. So they had a comic book convention. And I'd say there were probably maybe 500-600 people there. It wasn't that big, but we're talking about 2003, 2000, 2002, 2003, somewhere around there. And so I saw a lot of anime, which is cool because I'm part of the Toonami, Dragon Ball Z, generation. Anyway, so that was really cool. And I would love to get into going to another comic book convention. I actually want to go to San Diego one. I want to go there. I need to go at least one time and go to the presentations in Hall H when they're talking about the new movies. Oh, I feel good all over. Look, I want to go. And if anybody wants to take me, any sugar daddies or sugar mamas in the chat? Let me stop. Oh, JB, you're so silly. All right. Nanzenzi says, hi, JB. Is there a chance you or another comrade on RBN will report on a leak of German project that pushes Ukrainian war propaganda? Sounds like a Nick thing. That's an interesting question. Leak of German project that pushes Ukrainian propaganda. This is all new. Knowing Nick, though, he's probably already up to speed on this because he is like the king of like foreign policy issues on RBN. Like, if you want to know about foreign policy, talk to Nick. Nick will get you up to speed. But yeah, that's a good question. Report on the leak of German project. That's interesting. Hey, you know what? Oh, wait, you continue. Hang on. I feel some reporting on German version of Ministry of Truth would shed some light on how complicit the European and German governments are to NATO war crimes would help wake some peeps. I mean, I can bring it up to Nick, but if you can, if you're on Twitter, can you tag me? If you have a link or something like that, even better. But yeah, tag me on Twitter. I think that's one of the best ways to get a hold of me. I got to work on when it comes to DMs and emails. I have a lot to work on. Okay, so Lady Alex, so good to see you. Have you received enough donations to help you remain in your home? Do you need anything else? I have enough to cover me for a couple months, which is basically using it to like backstop. Is the backstop the right word? It's like I'm paying what I was paying last year, and I'm using the donations to top off the rest for the rent increase, kind of like that, so that it helps. So that's what I'm doing, but it's enough to cover me for a couple months. So I just put it that way. I just I don't want landlords anymore. I wish I honestly, the amount of money that I'm paying for, I wish I could just have a mortgage and just own my own home now. In fact, I wish it would be where I can just own my own home. From all the years that I've been paying rent, I would have owned a home by now. I would have owned my own place. God, capitalism is really shafting us. Anywho, Lady Alex also continues. Are you aware of Kevin KJ Johnson imminent death penalty execution date of November 29th, 2022 in his case? No. No, I am not. Wait, I signed a petition. I signed a petition a couple of days ago. That might have been it. Hang on. Kevin KJ Johnson. Let's see. Kevin KJ. Let's see. Okay. I'm looking at change.org. It says clemency for KJ. Kevin KJ Johnson, black youth, was sentenced to death for the killing of white Kirkwood police officer William McKenty, a crime committed when he was just 19 years old. Despite the erroneous and unfair court rulings, grossly ineffective counsel, and racist prosecutorial policies, KJ remains on Missouri's death row. Hang on, let me share my screen just so that I can read this, so you guys can see as well. Thank you for bringing this up to me, by the way, Lady Alex. Let me enlarge too. Okay. You see, on August 24th, 2022, the Missouri Supreme Court issued an execution warrant and scheduled an execution date of November 29th, 2022 for Kevin. We need your help to stop the state from murdering Kevin. Please sign this petition, share it with your loved ones. Let me see. Background says on the evening of July 5th, 2005, Kirkwood police sought to serve a warrant at a family residence in Meacham Park. Kevin wasn't there, but observed the events from a neighboring home. When the police were present, Joseph Bam Bam Long, Kevin's 12-year-old brother, suffered a seizure and collapsed. The police were indifferent to the medical emergency, saying it was necessary to search the house. Witnesses attest that police officer William McKenty held back Joseph's mother from attending to her child. The ambulance later arrived, and Joseph was taken to the hospital where he died. 2 hours later, McKenty responded to a report of fireworks in the neighborhood, and a chance encounter with Kevin ensued. Kevin said, "You killed my brother," before shooting McKenty multiple times. Wow. Whoa. I do not believe in the death penalty so just by that very fact there, I'm going to sign a petition. Let me paste this link into the chat. So yeah, because hell no, I don't believe in death penalty. There's too many innocent people that there's too many innocent people that end up dead, because of these things. And so and the thing is that, I'm a firm believer in restorative justice, so no. And there's too many innocent people that go, and plus, on top of that, a lot of people who are within the criminal justice system are there primarily because of issues surrounding them not having their material needs met. So therefore, really, you can go about cases that people, like for instance, people who are in the manufacturing and sale of drugs, right? They could be cocaine possession, marijuana possession, possession of methamphetamines or whatever. Why are they doing that? Like, here's the question: why do they do these crimes? Why do they commit these crimes? Right? A lot of times it's because it's not out of greed, right? If you want to talk about greed and drugs, talk to the Sackler family with Purdue Pharma. If you want to talk about greed, if you want to talk about survival, talk to the dudes that are selling bricks out on the street corner, selling rocks on the street corner because they're trying to make sure that their family has enough to eat. Because guess what? If your rent is due tomorrow, you're not going to about to go to a fast food restaurant or a Starbucks and try to get enough money for that from that job in order to pay that rent, and you have to wait 2 weeks for it. It's not going to happen. That's not the way the system works, right? So, and then on top of that, they don't pay a living wage. So when you're talking about people who actually have to do, who feel like they have no other choice because the system really puts them in a corner, you're really operating in duress. Most drug dealers are dealing drugs in duress. That's something that people don't talk about because and you think that they're making thousands upon thousands of dollars. They may be, but also at the same time, you got to think about their mentality is they have absolutely nothing. So sometimes when they get that amount of money, do some of them probably squander it on certain stupid shit? Probably. But the thing is that it's because they have nothing. They got to feel like they have something. But even then, it's not even that. A lot of times it's to make sure the bills are paid. It's to make sure that their families are taken care of. And so they end up doing these things. When in reality, do they really actually want to do it? Do they actually think it's something lucrative that they like doing? Do they like having the law on their back all the time? Hell no. This is why I do believe that all drugs should be legalized. People look at me like I'm crazy when I say that, but yeah. Yeah. I just think that it should be regulated for purity by the government. So basically meaning that no additives or anything dangerous should be put into it. Because here's the thing. I got a bottle of 500 milligram Tylenol right there. What's the difference? What's the difference between some of the chemicals that I have in my house? So the thing is that, people, and plus, it wasn't McNamara. I'm trying to remember who it was under Nixon. When they started the drug war, it was really a drug war that was perpetuated through racism, and also part of the anti-war movement. They wanted to uh, quell the dissension from marginalized groups as well as anti-war people. And so they felt that the best way to do that without making it seem racist, which it actually uh, was to start the drug war. So, and it's funny because, I mean, you have, drugs like cannabis that are illegal federally, and yet I've never heard of a report of anyone dying from a cannabis overdose. Yet we sell alcohol in our grocery stores. So, and people have died from alcohol poisoning and alcohol related deaths. So that's all I got to say. But yeah, I don't believe in the death penalty. So just saying that. Thank you so much for that, Lady Alex. Yipper99 said, hello. Hello, Yipper. So good to see ya. All right. Oh, thank you, Lady Alex. I appreciate it. I'm humbled. Thank you so much. AG says, hello, everyone. Hello, AG. So good to see ya. All right. Wadi. Hey, Wadi is up in here. Bryce. Good to see you too, brother. All right. We got some people in the Chizat. All right. Roger Meadows says, question, you peep DMs to help Arizona for Medicare for All Coalition. DMs to help Arizona Medicare for All coalition. Let me take a look. I think. Oh yeah, I haven't gotten to this yet. I'm just now seeing this. I was busy. I'll look at it. I'll look at it after the stream though. Eric, I'm sorry. I'm starting to sound like Sabby talking to a producer that's not there. But I'll look at it after, Roger. Thank you so much. Actually, well, yeah, I got RBN live too. I'm busy today. Ooh. All right. Let me see. Is there a point on where to be able to monetize? I am monetized now, thankfully. But as far as what YouTube gives, it's not very much. And in order for me to do more substantially on YouTube, I would literally have to like no, I would literally have to this channel would need to be expanded like 20 times. No, 200 times probably in order for me to be able to do that. But it is what it is. All right. A non-user says, JB, I have been surfing various Tulsi commentary on YouTube today. Right wing mostly, but been trying to educate on DNC equals GOP equals fascist. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. Hold up, I gotta wet my whistle for this one. All right, Tulsi Gabbard. Oh boy, where do we start? I'm not gonna talk about it much because we're gonna hit that topic on RBN Live. Make sure to go to RBN at 4 p.m. because we're gonna talk about it. But Tulsi Gabbard. See, here's the thing. There's a difference between anti-war and anti-imperialism. I don't think a lot of people talk about. Some people are like, I'm anti-war, and it's like, well, are you anti-imperialist? Shocking. I am not anti-war. But what do I mean by that? When it comes to the war on climate change, I'm for that war. I'm for fighting that war because our climate actually needs it. War and poverty, I'm all for it. I want to get rid of poverty as much as I possibly can. I am also trying to win this class war on the workers and poor people's side. So as far as this war is going, I don't like the fact that we are in this war, but I am damn sure willing to win this war as far as the class war. Because the thing is that we have been shafted for basically a millennia. And I'm sick and tired of it. I am ready for the proletariat, those of us who are poor and disenfranchised, to be the ones that actually run the system so that we all benefit. I am actually for a war against imperialism. That means making it so that our government no longer goes to other nations to change their government into a puppet government, to extract the resources for people. So the thing is it's like what type of war are you talking about? I prefer to be more nuanced and say I am anti-imperialist. Because that means that I am against expanding the empire, basically against expanding the empire that disenfranchises the people in other places and countries. I think that And from the way it sounds, she sounds to me, she sounds imperialist. She may tout the anti-war line, but she sounds imperialist to me. Especially when uh, she acquiesces to the thought of radical Islamist extremism when really who was the one that helped cause the extremism that we see abroad? Wasn't it the United States via the alphabet bureaucracies? So because of that, I don't subscribe to Tulsi Gabbard. On top of it, I think she's cool with capitalism. I think she's fine with it. And on top of that, you know, I mean, isn't Modi a Hindu fascist? And she seems to be fans of his. Look, when I say one fash, two fash, red fash, blue fash, also Hindu fash, yeah, I don't do that. So the thing is that when it comes to Tulsi, no. And the thing is that I don't know if she's trying to go in the Republican Party or if she's trying to be independent, but if it walks like a duck, then talks like a duck. That's all I got to say. Black hat. Black hat? All right. Talking Truth with ADC says, hey, JB, love and solidarity to you and the family. Oh, man, thank you so much, bro. It's good to see you as well. I appreciate seeing you. Whenever I do, it's always a good time, and I appreciate all you've done, for me. I'm very humbled. So if you guys are not following ADC on Twitter and following, him on The People's Voice, give him a follow. Really solid brother. And I just appreciate, look, ADC, boom, help me out with this. So yeah, kind people are my kind of people, and ADC is definitely one of them. Thank you so much. All right. Wadi says monetization on YouTube starts when you have 1,000 subs. Yeah. And 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, that was a tough time to get to. I think JB crossed those thresholds. Yeah, I crossed those thresholds a few months ago. So yeah, let me see. Money equals speech. Unfortunately, that's the way money talks. Yeah. Yeah. Privilege and prosperity on the left. And the thing is that here's my problem. And this is where some people are going to look at me. I know some people are going to look at me weird. But I don't know. Maybe it hasn't been said this way. Or maybe it has. I don't know. But when you're actually somebody on the left, when you have privilege, you fight for others who don't have it, right? But at the same time, you try your best to reflect the same sense of urgency that the disenfranchised have. Because you're not disenfranchised, you don't know what that feels like at that moment. You may have in the past, but those senses become dull as you become at the longer you're privileged too. Because remember, there's a lot of people who were poor back in the day and then they became rich, and now they have this disconnect. So therefore, there's, you would have thought they've been rich their entire lives. Hello, Whoopi Goldberg. So with that being said, that disconnection is dangerous. This is why those who are privileged, those who are affluent on the left, need to reflect and mirror the same sense of urgency that those of us have. Hello, RBN, because those of us are saying. So when we're talking against the Democratic Party, it's because they have no sense of urgency. I didn't say lack, I said no sense of urgency. Because for them, it's just the politics game. Because the Democratic Party is a company. It is a corporation that uses the political sphere so that you will think that they're actually going to change things when really they're just trying to get your debit card number so that you can donate to their Act Blue. That's all the Democratic Party is. That's what it has been for a long time, and that's what it continues to be, because they don't give a sugar honey iced tea shit about you. They don't. They don't. And unfortunately, you have some that are very well-meaning, that have very big hearts, that think, man, that's the only way I can get through to get into office. And you'll have some of them that are out there that are running, and they're running as progressives right now, and they're running a campaign with no corporate money, and they're saying, I'm not for the corporations, I'm for the people. But the problem is, the Democratic Party will not let you in. And no matter what you do, they're not going to let you in. The squad was a fluke. I'm going to say it again. The squad was a fluke. What do I mean? They got in there because the Democrats weren't looking. They weren't looking out for that. So they got a hit in. They're like, oh, snap. All right, what do we do? We got to co-opt them. We got to bring them into the fold and make them more like us. And then we got to lock the door so that they don't come back in ever again. It's like we're insects, right? Well, some people on the left are like insects. And the Democrats are like people in the House that think that they took the caulking gun and got all the cracks and crevices in the House where no other progressives can get in. But there was one spot that was left that the progressives could get in, and guess what? They got in. But guess what? Now, those bugs that crawled into the House are now co-opted to be just like them. And then behind them, they took that caulking gun and sealed that entrance. There are no more entrances into the party for anybody who is anti-capitalist and anti-imperialist. It does not exist. So therefore, for us to still think that, we can reform the Democratic Party is ludicrous. Because number one, they don't want it. Number two, to be honest with you, the proletariat really needs to seize the means of production. The proletariat needs to seize and get rid of these political parties. That's what they need to do. That's what needs to happen. Now, in order to mitigate some of the disaster that is our federal government and our state and local governments, then yes, third party, people who are in third party, people who are in independents, yes, they could be some of the people that mitigate the damage against the proletariat. And also, shout out to you, Roger Meadows, people who are working towards like ballot initiatives and things like that. Can also help mitigate that disaster. But the thing is that going through either one of these parties, it's just not working. It cannot happen. And so you have some people who are what I like to call on the legacy left that are cool with the reformist, even though it leads to a graveyard. It leads to nowhere. Shama Sawant was correct in that. She said going through the Democratic Party is a road to a graveyard. So when you have people constantly telling us, well, we just gotta keep trying through the Democrats. Number one, how many people like me are they talking to who are literally suffering in real time? They're not talking to people like me. Have I been on their show? No. Has CJ been on their show? No. Has Rome, Savvy, Nick, has Robert Durden been on their show? Has Glory Jones been on their show? Has Kim Brown been on their show? Have the Banks sisters been on their shows? No, absolutely not. And here's the thing. Here's why. Because we're going to say something that they don't like. Even if it may be the truth, we're going to say something that they don't like. We're going to say something that is antithetical, that ruins the gravy train. Like, shit, I'm on today. I'm on today. You're ruining the gravy train because some of them, their prosperity within this space is contingent on the victories of the Democratic Party. So even when Joe Biden does this stupid ass decision of just only pardoning people for simple marijuana possession in a federal level, they're celebrating it. We're like, that ain't shit. What the hell? Why y'all celebrating? Why are you celebrating? Who puts paint on a burning house? Who puts paint on a burning house? What's the point? If Joe Biden were to go, I'm taking marijuana off the scheduled substance list. I'm also going to be legalizing marijuana, or at least decriminalizing it on a federal level. And anybody with marijuana related offenses, not just possession, but also manufacturing, distribution, things like that. And then I would heavily encourage everyone across the board, all the governors, to do the same. Then yeah, I see that would be more of a victory. Hell, one thing he also could have did was, for anybody who was who were doing the sale and manufacturing of it, shit. And this is going out to people who are big fans of MMT out there. Make a grant, give it to anybody that was in prison for the manufacturing and sale of marijuana. Give them a grant for business school, and give them seed money in order to start a dispensary. So the same thing you got arrested for back in the day, oh no, we're going to reward you for it because you should have never been arrested. And now we're going to give you a grant and seed money in order to start your own business, to sell the thing that you were selling back then. Oh, you were a weed dealer back then. You got arrested. Okay, we're going to give you money so that you know how to operate a business, and also going to send you to business school so that you can operate your own weed business now. Because to me, that's more justice, right? But I went off because it's just the prosperity needs to be thought about as spreading it abroad, not just concentrating on the self. Spreading the prosperity among all of us. Because the thing is that if you're going to sit there and talk about, oh, we just need to go through the Democratic Party, and then you collect all this money on your Patreon, it's like, okay, but the thing is, people are still suffering. People are still dying out here. So really, it's being on the left is a trend for you. Being on the left is cool. Being on the left is the it thing. It's not the it thing for me. I'm on the left not only because I believe it's the right thing, but what choice do I have? Not just because it's the right thing to do, not just because it's the right, it's also believing on what's objectively true. Red Raccoon, so good to see you. Said ADHD do be a struggle. I've edited like 10 vids to start my channel. I have yet to finish any of the voiceovers in a month. Ooh, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. And I've said this before. I hate editing. I cannot stand doing it. And here's the problem. Here's my problem. There are people who have offered and reached out to go, hey, JB, I'd edit, and help you with stuff on the technical side on your channel. You don't need to pay me. I do it for free. Which is so kind and so compassionate. But in my mind, I'm like, I can't pay you, so I'm not going to have you do anything. And even if I could, I'm not going to pay you chump change because I'm not a capitalist. If I'm going to pay you, I got to pay you commensurate what other editors get, and it has to be a living wage. That's for me. To me, it's just like, I don't want to be that guy, And so it's like they're coming to me going, no, but you can have it. I'm like, no, I can't buy it. I can't. I don't have the money. No, don't offer it to me. I want to make sure that I pay. It's just, I don't want to feel like I'm constantly taking from people, because that's what I felt like my entire life. It's just, and it's not a pride thing. Is that I don't want to make people feel like I'm a burden all the time. You know what I mean? And that's the issue that a lot of us who are poor, working poor, in poverty, that's something that we deal with a lot. Is that we always constantly feel like we're a burden on people, we're a burden on society. Even from a perspective of being disabled, you feel like you're a burden. You feel like anything you ask for, people on the inside are going, God, he needs something again? That's how it feels. And there are times where some of us will suffer in silence because we don't want to inconvenience people. A reluctant or stifle yes, it sounds exactly like a no to us. So yeah. But yeah, as far as doing the editing, I can't stand it. I really can't. I know I need to make clips. I just don't feel like it. And here's the crazy part. I don't have editors. I don't have researchers. I don't have producers. I don't have anybody with me on my channel. I am the editor. I am the producer. I am the host. It's all me. A lot of these bigger channels, they have researchers. They have editors. They have producers. Especially a lot of the ones that are reformists. Yeah, they got a lot of help. Me? No. RBN? No. I mean, the only person that has a producer is Savvy, but Savvy's producer is volunteer. And Savvy's, Savvy's producer does a wonderful job. Eric does a wonderful job. And just really good people. But that's the thing. The people who also are the ones that offer the help are the people who also are the kindest and most compassionate. Sometimes I wish the people who offer it were assholes so that I could be like, well, yeah, okay. But even still, I still probably wouldn't. But people are super kind and compassionate, and then it adds on top of it that you don't want to feel like you're taking advantage of them. So yeah, that's something I have to deal with. Bad Cookies says, JB, what is about gentlemen with glasses? Oh, okay, all right, okay. This is definitely the Q&A, part of the Q&A. Okay, I'm gonna get to the short story that I want to get to in a second. But how can I put this? I love geeks and nerds. Geeks, like my boyfriend doesn't wear glasses, but I love geeks and nerds. Maybe it's because I was raised on people like Steve Urkel and watching movies like Revenge of the Nerds. Maybe it's because I was being taught. I used to be in a deeply religious organization, so they used to study Bible with me, but they were nerds. Maybe that has something to do with it. But the nerds just, it's just, I don't know. The nerds and geeks just are awesome. I love a smart guy, but it has to be coupled with somebody who's like kind and compassionate. That wit with that kindness and compassion together. Because there's some smart people that are assholes, and I'm just like, yeah, no. But smart people, the especially like the geeks and nerds they're wonderful. They're just, yeah. Yeah. Especially the ones that don't look like much to other people. They'll be like, "Oh man, he's so skinny. He's so short. He has glasses, and he likes Dungeons and Dragons, or he likes video games, or he likes going to Comic Con." Those are my favorite. Let me go to Comic Con. I'll be shooting my shot everywhere. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Geeks and nerds. Even if I was straight, I would still be going after geeky. If I was straight, I'd be going after geeky girls. Yes. If I was, oh, Lord, who you telling? Geeks and nerds are my favorite. All right. Oh, give him the boost says your mom brought the heat. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so very much. JM, thank you. JM's also a JB member. Good to see you as well. Hey, by the way, I gave you a shout out for becoming a member. I just want to thank you for that. I'm not sure if you got to hear it, but I just want to thank you for that as well. Yes, there's a Comic Con every year in San Diego. I really want to go, Bryce, because it's awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Bad Cookie says, JB, what kind of Sabian are you hiding under that blanket? It says Sabian. What is that? Hang on. Google, what is it? What is that? Oh. Oh my. No, you didn't, Bad Cookies. No, you. Bad Cookies trying to get spanked over here. Gotta choose Goku or Vegeta. Oh man. Why you made me do that? Gohan. I identify with Gohan more. Too late, Bad Cookies. I already did it. Bad Cookies over here trying to get me in trouble. Gamer says, I like smart people as well. Gamer, it takes one to know one. Good to see you. Hugo. Man. Damn. I got her book. I gotta finish it, but I got her book. Yeah, I got her book. Hugo. Stephanie Kelton? Yeah. John says, why do people associate glasses with intelligence? I've met some dumb people with glasses. I don't know what it is. I think glasses also sort of frames the face a little bit too. I think that's part of it. Um, and I don't know. A lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people tend to associate really smart people who wear glasses because I guess that's just the way our society has deemed it. People who wore glasses were also seen as weaker back in the day, and nerds and geeks were also considered to be weak back in the day. So there was this, it's like you got a prosthetic for your eyes, so you're weak type of thing, right? Um so yeah, it I think that's part of it. But then as time went forward, a love for people who were really smart with glasses, aka geeks and nerds, actually started to take more. We start looking at them with a more with a with an eye of admiration and an eye of adoration. So because of that, because technically I'm actually supposed to be wearing glasses. I have an astigmatism, but people don't realize that. But it's very light. My vision is like 20/40. But I think that's probably what it came from. But now it's not as seen as a weakness anymore. See what I mean? It's now more socially acceptable. It's accepted that you wear glasses now. So I mean that's the best explanation I can come up with. All right. You see. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this. I found this when I was scrolling through YouTube one day, and I was just like, you know what? I need to talk about this. And you guys know me. You guys know that I always talk about these things. Oh, hang on. Before I do that, uh, JB, get it together. Get it together, man. Get it together. Okay, let's do this. I gotta make sure I cover my Rockfin peeps. Um, Let me see. Thanks for the tip, Roger. Right, it says when I said you said wear a black shirt, I thought you were talking about being a hacker. That was when you said you wear a queer hat also. uh, I was like, you sure you want to tell the world that, bro? Anyway, gotta love Roger, man. Anyway, owning a home isn't just substitute paying rent for a mortgage. It's more expensive because you have to come out of pocket to pay property taxes, fix your boiler, plumbing, electrician, all things rent paid. I got you. Good explanation. Thank you so much, Roger. I I am not that very literate when it comes to computers. I do not wear a hacker hat. Yeah, sorry. I'm so stupid. Rory O'Neill, so good to see you. Happy Tuesday to you. Roger says, you break the stereotype of gay guys having money. I heard a joke that said he couldn't figure out how is it that gay guys always have money, and he couldn't figure it out until a light bulb went off in his head that said, oh, I got it. They don't have girlfriend. Damn, Roger. No, no. Look, a lot of us poor gays exist. A lot of us do, man. Like, there's a lot of poor gays out there. We there's some broke gays out here, man. I'm one of them. Thanks for the tip, Roger. Annual Comic Con in Manhattan, NYC is held second week of every October. Oh, at the Jacob Javits Center. Why fly all the way to the West Coast for a 6-hour flight? 3,000 miles when you can fly north for half the time and distance. However, The last on I've been was the October before, and the first Captain America, the first Avenger movie. However, I am an originalist who just came on board. I go primarily for the comic books, haggling. Wow. Yeah, I want to go there too. Like, okay, so Roger, I need to get to multiple Comic Cons. Like the most famous one is the San Diego one, but I want to go to a multitude of them. So that's what I need to do. That's what I want to do. So I mean, hopefully I'll be able to do that one day. It's just a brother's broke right now, so I can't do it. I don't know. Look, Ty, gay dudes aren't anywhere near as shallow as straight girls going to be. Mm, listen, listen. God, I didn't know I was going to get into this topic, but fuck it, here we go. I do not have a lot of dudes sliding into my DMs because I do not fit what they deem as attractive in a lot of gay spaces. Fluffy and black does not register for a lot of gay men as attractive. Do you hear what I'm saying? Hell, look, there was a movie that came out recently. I think it's called Bros. It's supposed to be a rom com. A lot of gays of color and black gays are looking at it like y'all couldn't have no y'all couldn't have any people of color in that movie. The problem in the gay sphere, and I'm speaking specifically gay because I don't know about the lesbian, bi, or trans sphere, but white supremacy still exists, even socially. So yeah, there's a lot of people who just do not. It's like unless you look like Chris Evans or Timothy Chalamet, you're not getting people in your DMs. Just not. Or if you do, you're built like Chris Evans or Timothy Chalamet. And if you're black, it's a little bit less, but you have to be built like that. That's just the way it is. Sorry, but that's the gay scene. But yeah, as far as shallowness is concerned, but at the same time, um, there's not a lot of people who are like shallowness really is across genders. I mean, it just depends upon the person, really. Because there are certain people who, you know, really aren't that concerned with the physical looks, uh, whether male or female, whether gender identity or sexual orientation. So I think it more depends upon the person, but trust me, there are shallow people in the gay world. Trust me, and you typically see them on Grinder. But yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. And yeah. So no, there are shallow men that can be. I'm sorry, there are gay men that can be shallow, just like there are women that can be shallow. But there are also gay men that are also not shallow, just like there are women that are not shallow. There are people who, it grows across the board. Like there's shallow people in every different type of community. That's what I mean. but that's how I should have said it, at least. But yeah, I mean, they exist. I don't honestly don't think that it's necessarily one more or the other. Though men seem to be more visually stimulated than, you know, in some cases. So it's about the outside that catches our eye first. But once we start to get to know you and we realize you ain't shit, then we're just like, all right, bye. Because there are some guys that are good looking, but they're just horrible, you know? And you see that. Yeah, mainstream gay culture is the most shallow. Yeah. Hey, reality. Um, I don't. Uh, I don't think that. I think it's a misconception. I think once you start to see, not what you're saying is misconception, but I think a misconception that women are more shallow than gay men. I think that's a misconception. It does sound a little generalization ish. That's a word, but truth be told, there are shallow people across the board, and I've met them. In some ways, I kind of argue that, you know, I've I've met more shallow gay men than I have met shallow women. Have I ever met a shallow woman? Hang on. I don't I don't know if I've ever even met a shallow woman before. I have met shallow gay men though. But yeah. I don't think it's meant to sound like that at all anyway. So um um okay, so I wanted to get to this video really quick because this is something that I want to talk about. Let me see. All right, so this is a clip. I wish I can enlarge this, but it's whatever. So this is to anybody who lives in New York. You guys gonna hear something about New York. So he's asking the question: what's one thing you absolutely do? Sorry, what's one thing you absolutely don't like about New York City? So he's going to explain, and this is going to be interesting. Listen.
You absolutely don't like about New York City?
There's a lot of things I don't like about New York City. You know what I don't like? They're always talking about the homeless and how New York City gets billions of dollars every year from federal government, state money to take care of the homeless. And it's got to be about $1 billion a year. And it's not even, I don't think, 100,000, maybe 200,000 homeless. Let's give it 200,000. $1 billion, 100,000 empty buildings in New York. They can just renovate them, but they'll take that money and buy a new van, get a kitchen somewhere, and get a paper bag, put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in it, an apple and an apple juice, and ride around and give it to you. And I'm wondering, I'm not wondering, I know, it's a business. They don't care about the homeless. They care about the business. It's a business. And everybody is using the homeless, especially the city. I'm saying the city, the government is using the homeless to line their pockets. That's exactly what. So I don't like that.
What's one thing you absolutely don't like about New York City?
So those of you that are watching, yeah. I want to make sure I pronounce this name correctly. Morayo Kiri. Mariah Carey. I hope I pronounced it correctly. But Mariah Carey says he's not wrong. Yeah. So unfortunately, yeah. And the thing is that let's break this down.
There's a lot of things I don't like about New York City. You know what I don't like? They're always talking about the homeless and how New York City gets billions of dollars every year from federal government, state money to take care of the homeless. And it's got to be about $1 billion a year. And it's not even, I don't think, 100,000, maybe 200,000 homeless. This should get 200,000. $1 billion, 100,000 empty buildings in New York. They can just renovate them, but they'll take that money and buy a new van, get a kitchen somewhere, and get a paper bag, put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in it, an apple and an apple juice, and ride around and give it to you. And I'm wondering, I'm not wondering, I know, it's a business.
So the point being, and this is something that I think that a lot of people don't talk about, is all that money that you, like, for instance, how much did that new van cost to ride around to pass out food to the homeless? Like, how much did that van cost? How much did the van cost? How much money in gas does it cost to ride around the city? And how much does it cost to pay those people who are riding around that van that handing that food out to the homeless people? How much does that van, the gas, and the people who are handing it out, how much does that cost? Let's take a look. Let me see. For Econoline van. All right. So let's see. Um, 2022. Okay. I mean, for the most part, I'm seeing well over 40. So let's just put it down to 40,000. Let's just round down to $40,000 a year, right? So $40,000. So $40,000, right? And let's say you have a fleet of five, a fleet of five that you're using to pass out food to the homeless every day. That's around $200,000, right? That $200,000, instead of spending that on a fleet of 5 vans to pass around food to the homeless in New York City, where could that $200,000 have went instead? Like, that's my question, right? And yes, reality, they might be volunteers, which, and I didn't factor that into the price. I just factored in the price of the van. I didn't factor in fuel cost or anything like that. But my question still stands. Like, they're paying for the vans to transport these people, the homeless people. I mean, transfer food to them and things like that. But where's that money going? That money's not going to actually house the homeless. They're just feeding the people on the street. Whereas it's like, okay, if you're going to help the homeless, why not just make it so that they're no longer homeless? Why not just give them homes? Because a lot of times, a lot of people, and a lot of people will go, well, they have shelters, and I'm like, yeah, but some of the shelters, some of the things that the shelters do is bullshit. Because the thing is that some of these shelters, you have to worry about people stealing your stuff. You have to worry about not getting sexually assaulted, especially if you're a woman in these shelters. Then on top of that, you have different people with different personalities, and you have different people with different mental health issues that you don't know. You may have people who may have different um ailments. What if you're immunocompromised? you know? And so, and then on top of it, they may also have different rules in these shelters that are not conducive for you. Like, what if you're atheist and you have to worship their God because it's a religious shelter? Or what if you're of a different religion? Let's say you're Hindu or Buddhist, and they make it that you have to worship a Christian God. What if you're Muslim? God forbid if there's a shelter and it's ran by Muslims and they're like, oh, well, you have to pray to Allah. You have to do, you have to get on your knees and pray 5 times a day. And then the Christians go, oh my God, they're forcing them to worship our God. It's like, well, what are you doing? You're doing the exact same thing. So my thing is like, just give people homes. And it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Because a lot of times people who are anti, housing first, the first thing they'll talk about is, oh, we can't give these people all these big, huge homes. And it's like, who said they're giving them these big, opulent homes to live in? It's like, give them a 1 bedroom and call it a day. It ain't even got to be that big. Just give them a 1 bedroom with a kitchen. Give them a 1 bedroom with a kitchen and a bathroom and a living room. That's it. You want to do laundry? Okay, have a laundry place on premises. And don't charge money for the laundry. Have that be paid through taxpayer dollars so that they can do the laundry. Let them have clean water and heating and cooling and have a roof over their head and have an address so that they can actually get what they need, so that they can get these programs that they need in order to get on their feet, so that they can get a job and get on their feet, so they can get so they can have an address, so that they can get their birth certificates and they can get their IDs and driver's licenses. People don't think about this stuff. You don't think about this stuff until it actually happens. Gosh. In fact, hang on. Let me find this. Because this guy gives up. Let me see. Let me. There was a. I'm subscribed to them. Let me find out. Let me see. Oh, sorry about that. Here you go. All right. This channel is a wonderful resource to find out about people who are homeless. and know from what they actually go through so that you know what's what. All right, hang on. All right, let me share my screen really quick because I've shown this before, but I need to show it again because a lot of people go, well, why don't they just go to a shelter and get themselves on their feet? Let's go.
They out here saying, okay, get a job, go get a job. Okay, how? Explain to me how. I go into a shelter, 90% of all the shelters, you have a person off in the corner smoking a boogie and a staff member not doing nothing about it. You have other people while you're sleeping stealing your stuff. You have staff members sexually assaulting females inside the facilities. So most of them rather sleep outside in the danger and the cold than actually be in there, because when the reason why they left them or out on the street in the first place is because their mom or their dad or their brother or their uncle or someone in their family was either mentally, emotionally, physically, or sexually abusing them. So they're out here just because they rather not be in that environment. That's why you got so young kids out here. They out here saying, oh.
So yeah, that's the point, right? And so a lot of times people will blame the homeless people and they'll pin that on them when really it's a systemic issue. It's a societal issue that could be remedied by just getting people homes. And a lot of times, you have people, like for instance, there's a lot of queer youth that are out there on the street because their parents reject them, because their parents kick them out of the house. Because a lot of times it's because of very strictly religious upbringing. So if you're a gay kid, right, and you're out on the street, and the only shelter that's available to you is some religious shelter, and they don't like gay people, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So this is why a housing first model is the best model. Because believe it or not, homeless people actually chose the lesser of two evils. Because what they had to deal with, what they were dealing with a lot of times, because that was the better option, was to be out on the street. And just because you're in a hotel or sleeping on somebody's couch doesn't mean you're not homeless. I talked about this before. You're also homeless if you're sleeping on somebody's couch. You're also homeless if you have no choice but to live in a hotel. If that is not your first choice, if that is not your choice, that you would rather be, if you're in a hotel or a motel, you're essentially homeless. So, a lot of times people, they just don't think about these things. And they would realize it if they actually talked to people who are poor and disenfranchised. If they actually had these conversations. Oh, they got billions, reality. They got billions. Billions. And yes, I am aware the Vatican is also considered a sovereign nation. Why? Doesn't make sense. See, Evelyn says the US loves to provide fake systemic solution shelters that don't actually work. But because the solution is technically there, it lets people offload the blame onto the actual victim. It's fucked. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Zennial Hipster Burn says, yeah, you need to address to get a job, etc. So they're caught in a loop. People often don't realize that. Yeah, you get caught in that loop, and next thing you know, you're screwed. John says, well, when I lived in New Orleans, I met this kid. He stashed his backpack at my shop, who had been kicked out by his parents for being gay when he was 14. Damn. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize, there's so many people for various reasons. It's not all drugs, it's not all mental health. There's some people that just fell on hard times because the system is not conducive to actually caring for people's needs. It puts profits first instead of people's needs. That's why some people are homeless. Are some people homeless because of drugs? They may be coping with the economic issues and the societal issues that they are thrown into, and they're self-medicating for drugs by using drugs. That's probably part of it. Also, we have a lot of people with unresolved trauma and unresolved issues, and they cannot afford to see a psychiatrist or a counselor. And so, therefore, guess what? These things go untreated, and then they end up out on the streets. See, the problem is, and I say this before, and y'all watching me know that the issue is people look at these symptoms and want to treat the symptoms. They never want to treat the underlying cause, because if you treat the underlying cause, that takes power away from the people at the top. And so they don't want to treat the people with the underlying causes, because they feel like, well, we need to be the billionaires. We need to be the 100 millionaires. We need to be these people that has all these money so that we can show them what they can aspire to be, when really, who really truly aspires to be a billionaire? I just want to live a comfortable life and have, my needs fulfilled. Not just my physiological needs, but also my emotional needs and my aspirations and dreams. And it doesn't have to involve being ultra rich. It doesn't have to involve exploiting people out of their surplus labor in order for you to have more. Randy says, 100% truth, JB. And I'm tired of trying to choose the lesser of two evils in life. Choosing any evil feels like staying in an abusive relationship to me. Ooh, Randy, you said it. You said it, Randy. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to, bring that up because, that's something that a lot of people aren't talking about, man. Is that, when it comes to homeless people, and here's the thing, a lot of people don't realize, you who are watching me right now are actually more closer to homelessness than any of the billionaires or even the multimillionaires. You're actually more closer to homelessness than they are. I don't care if you're making $100,000 a year. You're still closer to homelessness than they are. Especially if you're a part of the proletariat and you're working in order to earn your wages, you're closer to homelessness. Yeah. So it would behoove you to actually push for a housing first model, because just in case something happens to you, you're not out on the street just like they are. See? Trash! Trash! Omar Rona. Trash. YepX says, hey, JB, how are things? Also, hey, chat. Say hey to YepX. It's going okay. In fact, I'm going to be leaving in a couple of minutes because I got to get over to RBN because we're going to be talking about some things. We got some things to talk about. I can't wait to see my sister and brothers at the RBN table. So I want you guys to, after I end this stream and give you all your forehead kisses, I want you to move to the left over there, and we'll actually have some more conversations over there. But yeah, also be sure to stay tuned tonight at 8 p.m. It's going to be a special episode of of Jaybefaunt on this channel that you're watching right now. I'm going to have Savage Joy. We're going to be talking about the March for Medicare for All and what she's doing that involves the UN. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. I hope you guys will be able to be here to join, because we're going to have a conversation. And me and Joy, we're going to cut up. Look, she may be watching, I don't know, but I'm going to get her in trouble. I'm going to get her in trouble tonight. So we're going to have fun. We're going to talk policy. Join in 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. Grab some coffee. We'll talk. All right? Anywho, let me make sure I check my Rockfin chat one more time before I mosey on out, because I know you guys got some good things to say. Same here, reality. Same here. I'd be a billionaire for only one day, too. I'd be like, hey, I'm a billionaire. Then next thing you know, are you still a billionaire? Nah. I gave most of it away. All right, kids. Hang on. Let's go. Let me see. Let me see. Hang on. Roger Meadows tip $2 said, nah, women are just more expensive because capitalism makes everything that women need more expensive, be it healthcare, grooming, personal stuff, clothes, parenting, etc. Damn, that's true. That is true, man. Like, I don't buy makeup. Some women do buy makeup, and that is like billions of dollars a year industry. And gosh, and also, I hate to say this, but a lot of women, use purses and pocketbooks. It would be so much better if you guys actually had pockets in your pants. They don't give you guys pockets. Like hashtag give women pockets, because some of y'all don't feel like carrying it around. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that they make you guys have these shallow ass little pockets or no pockets at all. Like, come on, man. It's 2022. Give women pockets. Jeez. Also, it also costs women more because to be a woman, because no one wants to hire you out of fear you'll get pregnant. Ooh, say it, Roger. And have to take time off where they'll be forced to pay you for other things alike. The corporation also might be thinking lawsuits that can come from on-the-job harassment. So women have lost wages just for being a woman. Regardless, homelessness. I'm sorry. Before I go on there, absolutely right. On the totem pole, women get close to the bottom, especially women of color. They get close to that bottom of the totem pole. And those are some great points. And glad to see Roger bring those points out. Thank you very much, by the way. Yeah. The corporation also might be thinking lawsuits that can come from on-the-job harassment, because some men don't know how to keep it in their damn pants. God, I tell you. Dudes, if you're on the job, stop flirting with your coworkers. Like someone told me back in the day, don't shit where you eat. God, we have apps for flirting. Leave the women at your workplace alone. Anywho, yeah. Thank you, Roger. All great points. Also, continuing, regarding homelessness, there's a rule that says if you want your issue to be on the next legislative agenda in the next New York State legislative session from January to June, you must start talking to the number 2 in both chambers starting in August. While continuing to put the New York health cap on agenda, one of the things we are pushing is addressing homelessness. This is why you're badass, Roger. I am trying to push for the group to push leg leaders to outlaw private equity from owning housing so they can stop engaging in rent speculation and driving up the cost of rent. Maybe transfer the ownership to the state and make it a co-op. Apply this to private equity owning hospitals, medical facilities, clinics, and why we should have the government broadband infrastructure with universal access for profit won't see a return on investment in sparsely populated upstate New York. So the government must do it as part of the social safety net. Medicare for All, New York Health Act means nothing if there are no hospitals near you. Woo! That's a lot. But the whole thing about making that you can't own private equity when it comes to rental housing as well as hospitals, facilities, and clinics, and I also include oh my god, what's it called? Nursing homes, places like that too. Because I was talking about I think the week before I was talking about how nursing homes are privately owned. I don't think that should be, but yeah, all great points, Roger. Yeah, I mean that would be great, if NYHA actually got passed and you had universal single payer in New York. So appreciate all the work you're doing, Roger. Okay, so 3:45. Boom! Gotta get going, everybody. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for this Q&A stream. I'll be honest with you. I did not feel like doing the show today. I was just like, JB, just do just the show tonight. And that's it. Oh, yeah, Roger. Yeah. Hey, that's why I'm here, brother. I'm here. Look. You may, you the Batman, I'll be your Robin, bro. I'll be here to back you up. So I got you. But yeah, I didn't feel like doing the stream today because I just wasn't feeling good. Like I don't know what happened, but once I started the stream, I actually started to feel better. And seeing you guys always make me feel better. So, I definitely appreciate all of you. Anywho, I just want to thank. Oh yes, Evelyn said, "Do not forget to like the vid." Thank you, Evelyn. You're very much appreciated in this space. Please return. I'm so stupid. I'm silly. All right. Anywho, gotta go. Love all of you. Look, tune in at 8 p.m. when I have Savage Joy on. We're gonna be talking about Medicare for All, and I'm gonna get her ass in trouble. She's gonna laugh at me if she hears me say that. That's my whole goal. I'm gonna get her in trouble. And look, water your plants, water yourselves, leave the world better than you found it. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them. If you ain't got them, then laugh because joy is revolutionary. Forehead kisses to every single one of you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'm passing it all out like French fries on a hot day. I'm giving it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. Never. That didn't sound right. I'm sorry. I'll give it to you consensually. Give it to you. Bye. See you later. Consensually. Consensually.